All right, it's 7 o'clock. We'll call this budget workshop of the Board of Finance together, Board of Finance to order. I'll get it right yet. We will, let's see, we have, George is not gonna be with us tonight, so we have a motion to put Christina as a voting member.
I will make a motion to have Christina Krasinski be a voting member.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. So we'll start with the budget workshop and we'll start with senior services.
Two 27. This one? Now I make it full screen.
Right next to it. Yep.
Ah.
Are you gonna click for me?
Sure, I guess so.
I
Unless you got something to click.
don't have. It's not in the budget. So I'm not sure if your agenda is in the same order.
That's okay.
Okay, so,
We're not.
okay, thank you. Thank you for having me this evening to present the three candidates for services. Parks and Recreation, Senior and Social Services, and this that in those divisions. So this is just breakdown on the staffing that this under those umbrellas. Social and Senior Services has admin staff as well as Parks and Recreation. And then we have 2 full-time drivers and a part-time driver in Senior Services that do our dial and ride program. So some of these you can skip through because I did them at the Board of Selectmen, but this is, I always like to introduce my staff and make sure that they get the accolades that they deserve, so those are my Parks and Recreation piece. So Parks and Recreation, our mission statement is it's dedicated to enhancing the quality of life for residents by providing a variety of recreation programs and maintaining well-kept parks and facilities. Thanks to DPW helping us to accomplish those missions. The commitment to the community is evident through our active community engagement and promotion of healthy lifelong lifestyles. Some of our responsibilities are to administer programs, facilitate the use of our town parks, secure grants, work in conjunction with other town departments, and serve as the liaison to the youth sports organizations here in town. Some of the things that we did last year that were new, we're offering a Camp Discover program, which was for ages 10 to 13. Our Leap Day scavenger hunt, which the time capsule that we created will be buried at the new community center and open on the next leap year in 4 years. Some of the things we accomplished or goals for this upcoming year are placement of the all-weather AED boxes in all of the parks playgrounds, continuing to partner with organizations and businesses in the community, and to continue to seek the grants to accomplish those goals. Samantha Charette is our program lead for the Parks and Recreation, and this fall she completed her Certified Parks and Recreation Professional certificate and is nationally accredited now through NRPA. As I had said earlier, some of our goals are to do the life-saving AED boxes. Those would go directly to the 911 system where someone would be able to call 911 and the dispatcher would give them the code to the box where they would be able to unlock the AED if someone is in a cardiac episode. And we're also looking to secure funding to replace the dock at East Windsor Park.
Sorry.
It's okay. It's hard when you're not doing it yourself. Continuing to seek those grant funds to continue to beautify our parks and playgrounds. So into the budget requests, currently the supervisor's contract is out of contract. And the clerical is also going to be out of contract as of June 30th. So those are remaining the same. Part-time salary remain the same. Overtime, we did not ask for any changes either. So those all still remain the same. I just would like to say that the Parks and Rec salary line for the admin encompasses the salaries that administers all three positions. Professional services, there wasn't in the original request, but we did set up the first weapons, concert series. And that was approved, so that number was changed from 39,657 to 42,457. That would just allow us to attract some, or allow us to be able to go after some higher quality bands, and we've done that this year in regards to the first couple. So we're looking to continue upon that for the final groups this year. We didn't go up in site improvement or supplies, dues and fees. We are asking to have an increase so that Samantha and I can attend the national conference this year. She was one of, if you go to the next slide, Amy, I think it is. You'll see that Samantha was chosen for the National Recreation and Park Association's Conference Program Committee. And she is the only representative from New England to been chosen. So that will be able to get East Windsor on the map in regards to NRPA and allow us to network with other small agencies that might be able to help us facilitate some new ideas that we could bring to the community. Professional services, I had said, are the concerts, so you can skip through that. So these are some of the opportunities that we have. We have a lot of interdivisional collaboration. We were able to do some significant park upgrades, program planning for transition into our new building, which our gym equipment arrived today. So it's a fantastic new addition that we have. Pickleball courts went down at Osborne Field this year. Youth sports guidance, we're received a grant from the Million Coaches Association and we're in conjunction with NRPA. And so we're going to be able to facilitate some coaching classes for about 55 youth sports coaches. That some of the challenges we see is seasonal staff retention. And our park maintenance staff retention is something that we would also view as a challenge, trying to keep someone on board to really want to work in that position. Obviously, the weather is a big factor for us. A lot of our programming and events are outside. And then the space for after school and open gym opportunities is a challenge. Because we just have the 3 schools that have gyms and they predominantly use them for their after school program and or youth sports or their middle school sports and high school sports. So that's a challenge for us because we get a lot of requests for gym usage. So that is encompassing a lot of the different parks and playgrounds that we have, different activities that we were able to facilitate this year. First place in the haunted highway.
Nice.
And we did the Hide the Grinch in East Windsor again, and facilitated that, and thanks also to Stein Family Farm for, lending us their cow for a family shot, so. Anyway, we can get out into the community, we really try hard to do that. We are hiring, so I threw that in there in case you know anybody that is looking for a summer job. Currently still looking for a camp director. We have a couple applications, and then also looking for some gatehouse and snack bar attendants. And that's Park Rec. I don't know if you want me to keep going or go ahead. Gotcha. So these are my this is my team at Senior Services. And I spoke about some of them earlier, my drivers and recreation needs. Again, center is committed to being vibrant and engaging center and building a variety of activities designed to promote social interactive activities and create. A lot of our seniors, we are the only ones they see, side of their one. So we really try to have pulse on what's going on in their lives to make sure that we are keeping them aging in place as long as we can. The activities at the senior center have not only enriched the lives of our members, but have also strengthened the community bonds. We've heard from a number of them that they have not had this interaction with people before. And so when they come to the center, it's really cool to watch them interact with people of their own age. And seeing those bonds is very fulfilling for us. Participation rates increased by 22% this year, demonstrating a growing interest in our programs. As we reflect on this past year, we are grateful for the participation and enthusiasm of all of our members, and I know that they're excited to move into their new building as well. Congregate and Meals on Wheels, so MOW stands for Meals on Wheels, which is our homebound meal program that we run in conjunction with Community Renewal Team, or CRT as it's referred to. So in July of 24 to January of 25, we served 4,303 meals. The congregate meals are the ones that we do in-house, where you come to the center and eat. And last July to January, we did 2,922 meals. So we did see a reduction in services from CRT. So unfortunately, we are only receiving meals 3 days a week from them and 22 meals capped. So we are doing 2 meals in-house now per week. And those are us cooking, being sponsored by local businesses or generous community members. We have a couple of people that have just given us money to facilitate that. And we're hoping to eventually go back to 5 days a week with CRT.
Didn't they reduce last year too?
This has been they gave us 2 weeks notice this year. So we're pretty good at figuring it out. So for transportation, this is the Dial-A-Ride program. In last fiscal year, we transported almost 8,200 clients. And we drove 28,783 miles. It's about a 19% increase over the previous year. A lot of our seniors, they don't drive themselves anywhere, and they rely heavily on us to take them to everyday needs such as grocery shopping, hairdressers appointments, dentists, doctors, and we cover a pretty vast area. So currently we have 225 registered clients. And that encompasses ages 60 and above and 18 and up if you're fully disabled by the state of Connecticut. So for personnel, again, clerical contract will be going out in June. Part-time, you'll see a slight increase for the 2%. Overtime, no change. And then I have one employee that's been here long enough to still get the longevity. So that increase is per his contract. For department expenses, no changes in the professional services line. A slight increase in supplies. For us to be moving into the new building, we need new stationery and business cards. And then we would like to be able to cover CRT lunches as I'm not anticipating them coming back. So we estimated 52 weeks of being able to cover that. So hopefully the $6,500 will suffice for that. And then a slight increase in dues and fees as I have one individual interested in the CCN program, but that might be changing. In regards to how they facilitate that program, so it's not here. So that's a sneak peek of what the gym, the community center looks like. Like I said earlier, the gym equipment arrived this morning, so we are excited for that to happen. We do have kind of a proposed fee schedule. It is not set in stone. It is something that we are kind of just brainstorming about, but I wanted to be transparent with it. That we need to make sure that we have the ability to service the machines and prepare ourselves to have fixes if they break. So with that said, we're looking to have a membership program where you would pay $35 for 3 months, $60 for 6 months, or $110 for 12 months. And that would allow us to have a certified fitness instructor be there also to be able to show you how to properly use the machines, and give you introduction and some lessons as you're getting acclimated to the center. Shifty today, but see if I can read it up. So we also partner with Greater Hartford Transit District for their rideshare program. In January of 25, 616 rides were booked that started in East Windsor and 628 had destinations within East Windsor. So when we are able to take our seniors places, this is the place we would recommend them to. It's $3 per ride. And we've had nothing but positive feedback from them, and they only started last week. So far, so good. These are some of our photos. As you can see in the bottom right picture, there's 3 different programs going on in that small space. And they are doing 3 different activities. So when we do move into the new center, they will be able to spread out and have their own private area to do those activities. We have had FRC playgroup come frequently to the senior center in the last year. And so that's the bottom left pictures for that intergenerational play. And then finally, social services. Those are my amazing team members over there. For social services, we're an essential part of the community that aids with social, emotional, and economic needs while helping clients to attain self-sufficiency and maintain economic well-being. That is the hope. We try for community outreach and connection to services, as well as to educate the residents of our services. We do referrals for our homeless, continue to address hunger, as well as help those in need of substance abuse referrals and mental health. So we started tracking how many people are coming into our office. So we have a better understanding of the programs and services that we should be focusing on. So you'll see that our busiest times tend to be around the holidays. That's when we're able to distribute all of our holiday food baskets, as well as our toy program and back to school program. So those numbers are always pretty high for us. But then we see a big number for energy assistance, and renters rebate is the time that's happening about now. So I'm hoping next year we'll have a really good idea of the real top 10 programs that we do for the town. Again, this one also encompasses full-time salary. No change because their clerical contract will be going out June 30th. Slight increase for part-time salary at the 2%. No changes on longevity. So that's the salary line. Professional services, no change. YSB was decreased and moved over to the PD. Supplies, we will be working in conjunction with, so it's It's a good teamwork program that we have. They're fantastic to work with, so we're looking forward to that. Supplies, we are asking again for a slight increase for us to be able to facilitate us moving and purchasing those new business cards and stationery. General assistance, we feel at this time that we're confident that we can work within the 25K that we get to help those with the needs, because we are able to apply for different grants. We were fortunate to receive a number of United Way assistance this year. So we did a good job of using that money up first because there's a stricter deadline. So we've been using that money first before our evictions and ejections, no change. We've gotten better at getting rid of the items faster thanks to the help of DPW. So we haven't had to keep them in the storage unit as long. Dues and fees, again, I have one individual looking to take the CCMO program, but they may be restructuring that, so that's not set in stone. This is some other programs that we help to facilitate. The Veterans Assistance Program, we work with the Veterans Commission to help see those programs through. We were able to team up with Home Depot this year, and we had 3 veterans receive free lawn care and fall cleanup, thanks to Home Depot and the Veterans Commission. Our back to school program, we received a lot of wonderful donations, and we were able to help with Medicare and SNAP. We're seeing an increase in both of those programs within our office. These are some of our other programs that we run in-house. We have a strong community connection with all of our first responders, and they are the first ones to show up when we pick up the phone, and we're so very grateful for them because they're able to help us see our programs through from start to finish and are always willing to lend a hand. We were able to host pop-up farmers markets this year in conjunction with the seniors farmers market coupon program at the summer concerts, and we're going to build upon that this year. And we were able to also process 350 applications for a total of $274,624 in energy assistance last year. Just a sneak peek of what the colors look like in a few weeks.
Nice. Right, with that, we'll ask if anyone has any questions from Melissa.
Don't have any questions. I will just say thank you for everything that you do. I think it's truly amazing that you handle all 3 of these different. So thank you for everything you accounting. I love the improvement. I love when I get to drive by the red every day. I love being playing basketball or even sports or at the playground. It's just nice to know that all the work that you do is.
It's not just me. I'm very grateful for the team that I have and the team that we have here in town with working with other departments and agencies. We wouldn't be able to do what we do without them.
I just have a couple of small ones now. And for this year's actual budget, since nothing to do with next year, but 24-25 under general assistance, we have used nothing, or that's what you're talking about. We had the grant dollars.
So we use the grant dollars; those are gone now.
Yeah. Okay.
So between now and then, we will use a chunk of them, and we also went over in our eviction line.
Okay.
So some of that will cover that deficit.
And then early on, under Park and Rec, you talked about the AED devices.
Yeah.
Get the words right. That's part of this budget, or that's something you were working on?
So we purchased them, but now we need to install them.
Okay.
So there's an electrical component that goes along.
Okay.
And where will those go? So we bought 6 of them so far. Park, Osborne Field. And here's one. So that's it. I can count.
Other than that, it's pretty straightforward, and obviously we all know that the contracts, that's kind of budgeted in contingency. Understand that. Any other questions for anything? Done? Yes, I can ask Randy, do you have any questions? No? Maybe you don't hear? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. With that, we will move on to. Looks like IT would be next. That is.
Good evening. Well,
It doesn't matter, you can go whatever order works for you.
oh, that's fine. We're in the order that we're on there. They're all the apparel.
Yeah.
Who's from the? Okay, Public Works Department. We're responsible for road improvements, town properties, sanitation, information technology, and engineering. Okay, IT, public control services, software, license, stuff there. Next slide, you'll see the breakdown of our budget. Excuse me. We have, basically the top, we have professional services, purchase services, software licensing, cabling and cable. So under purchase services, you can see that's our cybersecurity, web design update, virtual town hall, etc. That's that kind of stuff. The professional services is basically our consultant. Okay, and then the software details below is basically, we reach out to all of the department heads. We ask them what their software needs are, and most of them are recurring. So basically, we're asking them for an update, any increases in the services or the software. There's a few increases of a little new software in here, but basically it's, we don't tell anyone they can't have it. We just put it in our budget, and between the Board of Selectmen and the Board of Finance, we don't feel as though it's our job to tell someone they don't need something. We're not in their departments. What we do with that?
Can we stop so I can ask questions on,
Sure.
Okay. Just a question, if you can go back, yeah, just the purchase services, I'm just curious. I don't think the numbers that we have here are matching the numbers that.
We took out the website, design update. So that 90 became probably 59.
62,367.
Yeah, okay, that's what the difference is.
Yep,
Okay.
This is what I.
No web
Things
design.
that happen.
I got it.
you did, you and I.
And what was the web design? Yeah, just like the update.
That's getting us, ADA compliant. That we have to be in 27 or 28.
Okay. What was the rationale between funding it?
Well, we're hoping to fund it this year.
Okay.
We're gonna come back to you guys probably next month with maybe sooner, this week, with, anything that we can offload off of the budget request. It's gonna be a one-time revenue that we have capacity for with our operating budget. That would be an example of one of those.
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you.
And the balance of that increase you said was for the security issues.
I'm sorry.
The other increase, there's, I don't know if it's the increase or there's lost my. Here. It's $24,000. That's the increase in cybersecurity programs or whatever under professional services.
24,000.
Oh, purchase services.
Sorry, I'm looking at
You had-
purchase service.
So that is the 9 in the virtual town hall and the 9 in the weekly patch management service?
Yeah.
Is the bulk of that?
So that's our cyber software, basically our antivirus for the system, townwide.
Did we get a more advanced system that it went up, or is it just the contracts?
It keeps us clean from people who click on things or don't put their passwords in right. I'm sorry, am I looking right at you? So, it basically, it protects us and locks them instantly out now.
Okay.
So it's, it's what we need. It's what we need to do, to stay current with the times, and we don't pay for a cyber audit year or bi-yearly, we just do it. And once a week, we do updates. So everything gets updated, so whether it's everything gets shut down, rebooted, and if there's any codes or anything in the computers, it gets fixed every Tuesday night into Wednesday morning.
That's all. Anybody else?
Thank you. For you. Next up.
Okay, Department of Public Works, under the action, for that, or for maintenance, property maintenance, fleet maintenance, and project. If you flip, I don't think I need to read all of them, that's basically all things, all the road maintenance. Nobody thinks we do anything, honestly, that they see us plowing. It's not true. We do other things. Next slide, we're going for property maintenance. Which is basically the maintenance of the facilities, the landscapes, athletic field. The parks and the schools, we mow school property, all the town property, and then we service and repair all of that equipment. Project management, we prepare most of our queues for general purposes, construction purposes, take care of the road, oversee the park improvements, the school construction projects, any building renovations, and also any software, hardware upgrades, or replacement. That's really Joe. Fleet maintenance. We service, maintain, and repair our vehicles. I mean, we have an in-house, we had an in-house mechanic. Last Friday. We'll be hiring a new in-house mechanic, and we basically, something has to be really big and heavy duty on one of the larger trucks for us to send it out to have anything done. Some framework or springs or something. We really fix everything in-house. And the fleet actually includes, well, it says it right there, little vehicles, big equipment, and the senior buses. So we do maintain the senior buses. The public works budget. The salaries are increased. There's a little increase in there for me. I get my 2%. The boys get like 2.5%, I believe. Joe is out of contract, and so is my administrative assistant, so there's no increases in there for them. Part-time salary, we'd like to try and find a part-time person. We don't seem to have a lot of luck with it, but we keep trying. And the overtime is an estimate, based upon the increase in the salaries of the highway workers. It's an estimate. I increased a little bit. We do not schedule overtime, as you may see other towns doing leaves and things on weekends and what have. We don't schedule overtime. If we're out there working overtime, there's a problem. There's a tree across the road, it's snowing, something. Professional service, this doesn't go. This doesn't show the breakdown on the professional services and supplies and things. So professional services entails the uniforms for the gentlemen, our stormwater program, purchase services, that's only $1,000 for a lot of the ends we need, and some design and engineering. Our supplies and equipment, fuel allowance for the gentleman, grounds equipment for the park and rec. We have a couple of guys that kind of specialize in that. Our other basic supplies that we need are highway signs, highway equipment, and in the last contract, anyone who holds a CDLA receives an extra $250 stipend, I guess you'd call it. That's a more advanced commercial driver's license. You drive a trailer, to move our equipment around with a trailer. And education and dues, conferences and workshops, I mean, that, we really went down. So we try to tighten the belts where we can. Some of the, the shoe allowances and things, those are like in the contract. So that's that. I don't know if you all have that sheet or not.
Yeah, okay. Is there any questions on the public works part of the budget from anybody?
Okay.
Yeah,
Hold on.
I had a quick one. The memorandum of understanding between DPW and Board of Ed, that's going up this next year, right? Because that contract is
It
over
will expire
June,
June 30th.
June 30th. So is that adequate, the 1088? Is that adequate to cover?
One of the things that needs to be done at your level is you need to correct, in the salary lines for the contribution from the Board of Ed for the 37,000 changes. That is also going. The MOU is sunsetting, so the services won't be provided, but so too will the revenue transfer from the BOE also going. So that's something that.
Thanks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Excuse me. Properties. We take care of building repairs, utilities, street lights, heating oil, gas and diesel for the town vehicles and central supply. Basically, I review all of the utility bills and make sure they're not getting a little tricky on us, and they don't try to slice up my once in a while. But on the next sheet, we have the actual expenses. You can read the list: home, vehicle maintenance, building repair, water hydrants, it's potable water, which is the hydrants, sewer, that's WPCA. We have custodial services to take care of the buildings, supplies, equipment, electricity, street lights, propane for the generators, for some of the generators, our oil heat and gas and diesel. Now, one thing also, we are in the contract the next year. It will expire on December 31st for electricity. So we know what it's going to be for the first 6 months. We have to kind of do an estimate based upon what the market's going to be, what the market kind of looks like and what people are telling us it may look like. We are currently working with CCM to procure another contract for electricity. They haven't got back to me yet, but Titan Energy now, and we'll be working on that, but we'll start doing that to make sure we can where we are here. But that's something you should be aware of, that that does run out December 31st.
Well, you estimated $10,000 increase in electricity.
Yes.
But it potentially could be larger. Okay.
Same with the street lights, it's all.
Yes. Any other questions?
Good. Okay, road improvements. Well, road improvements is many things. We used to actually have a tree budget of $2,000, and that's like a tree. So we've gone to including it with our road improvements budget. So we have tree removal, guardrail replacement, sign replacement, road sand and salt, storm drainage replacement, road debris. Kind of self-explanatory. For some reason, people like our signs and they take them or run over them. So a couple of the items. In particular are the sand and salt and the road maintenance, which basically I think I added 2% to that, just to increase something. Road salt this past winter. $7 a ton, I think. We are committed to buy 1,000 tons. That's also, we purchased that off the state contract, off the state bid. We tell them we can hold 1,800 and we order 1,800 and they tell us we have to commit to half of it. So we'd have to buy it with a store. Which is pretty interesting the past couple of years, but we still seem to use it. Actually, we use, the way the winters have been, we use more material than we do plowing because there hasn't, it's been, you know, cold and kind of slushy and icy, but not a lot to push off the road. So we seem to be using it.
Yeah, we store it, does it go bad?
It's stored on a cover. We have, if you come to the garage, when you first drive in, excuse me, there's a dome. That's where we store we still use the sand salt mix, which a lot of people have gotten away from, but I think that's still the way to go. So we store our mixed sand salt material there, and behind there is a hoop building where we store our raw salt. So we just use regular white road salt. And we will mix that with the sand. And we leave a portion of that in the shed because for our parking lots and what have you, we got away from using the mixture because now you're tracking mud into the building. So we do all the parking lots and lawns and stuff like that with just straight salt just to get rid of the extra.
One important note about the road improvements budget is that does not include any type of paving. That's just basically road maintenance. There is no paving money that's in that budget.
Good.
Any questions for anybody?
Oh,
And the paving money comes out of grants, right?
well, we have paving and CIP,
Right,
plus we get state
good,
programs.
grants.
Okay, building commission. I get that too. Apparently the secretary gets a $50 increase this next year.
The math just didn't work. We pay 125 a meeting,
Oh, depending on how, yeah.
so it didn't divide. So I just made it divide.
Oh,
You have 10 meetings at $125 each now.
the next one, everybody's favorite. Sanitation. Pretty much what it says. Pick up the trash, we pick up well, we can. We have a contractor that picks up trash, recycling. I think we're trying to get a household hazardous waste. We do provide a bulk waste drop off and pickup. We have a truck that has dumps, that can carry dumpsters. It's a dumpster truck, basically. Small. So we can fill them and take them over to USA or over to Windsor Locks if we have to dump it. So we charge a little bit to do it, try and cover the guy's time, but mostly because it costs us to get rid of it. And honestly, it helps a little bit because otherwise we're just picking it up on the side of the road and we're still getting rid of it. So at least we're sort of trying to cover a little bit of the cost of, and most people use it, you know, somewhat. Some people still throw stuff on the side of the road. And we're responsible, well, the company, you call us and we get the bids, replaced if necessary. So we are in a contract and those are the contract prices. The collection is, you know, the $835.74, the disposal is $357.878, and the single stream recycling is the $75.8. Now, it's kind of dependent upon our tons of trash. This is an estimate based upon our previous like 5 or 7 years, you know, what's been collected for tonnage over that, trying to get a handle on what we've collected. So these numbers are based on something that should be pretty close. We got killed during COVID because everybody cleaned out their house because they were working from home. Every garage, barn, basement. It was horrible. But I'm hoping we're not gonna have a pandemic, so I think we're pretty close.
And is this, just so the contract we're in is good for the entire fiscal year, or is it gonna? The contract you have for waste disposal? Like,
It's a 10-year contract, actually.
Oh, so we're in, oh, we're.
Yeah, we're good.
10,
Yeah,
okay.
we're good. We seem to get a pretty good deal. We don't like to talk about refuse disposal outside of town because we seem to get a pretty good deal because they're in town, I guess. And then engineering is basically, we manage road cut permits. We get a few bucks for a road cut permit, the plans, the planning and zoning and government. I design plans for, you know, like if we're doing any road work. Any simple drainage crossings, and we inspect not only our own work, but if a developer comes into town and is building a subdivision or what have you, if it's gonna be our road or our drainage, we inspect it to make sure we are standard. There's no, but that's actually their only money thing. Not a lot.
Where is that under?
The revenue in the general fund.
Okay.
Oh,
They actually have 3 lines, I think. Road cut, something else, and scrap.
Okay, thank you.
that's all I have. There's some pictures of some other things that you'll see this. That's the scene. Placing generators. We do it all.
All right, questions from anybody for anything we want to talk about?
Yeah, you mentioned that we're on a 10-year contract.
Yes.
How do our fees compare to other providers? Because it sounds like we're getting a good deal, but how much of a good deal are we getting compared to somebody else that may want to pick up our trash? Or is there nobody else that would pick it up?
Interesting question. We did do a little comparison. We did compare, we had another company that was interested.
Yep.
This is what they had to offer. And, USA came in, made us a better offer. And the contract had, I think there was like an evergreen in there anyhow, where we could have just gone with them, but we did do our due diligence to go out. And, check. Trash is a up to 10 towns and you'll find crazy numbers with trash. There aren't a lot of people that do trash, I can tell you that. There's only a handful. Maybe not even a whole handful, actually.
No.
Right, you're right, Tom.
Okay.
It's the same company, just different names.
Yeah.
Mostly.
We're sort of fine.
How far, I mean, is this, are we at the beginning, are we in the beginning, middle, end?
Yeah, beginning.
Beginning, okay. Good. Alrighty. Any further questions? All right, Thank you for doing this. And that else here will be the police department. Additional services supplied by the police department.
Maybe. Says I'm screen sharing. Does that give you?
You want to click that, Karen?
I think it's because I'm here. Let me try that.
Right click, I'll put it you, right. Then where it says full screen at the very bottom.
Am I clicking?
Secret signal.
Right. So before we get started, I just want to answer a question from Tom from the town. So one of my other jobs is I sit on a board that represents the trash collection of 11 of the communities in Litchfield County. And I can tell you your tipping fees are ridiculously low. So you don't have to worry about that. You got a heck of a deal.
Okay, thank you.
It's right when he says you don't want to talk about it.
Okay.
Just so you know. All right. Now we're back here. Police department, we'll start off with, I have a couple, but we'll start off with the police department, and obviously this is, myself and deputy chief, and our chairman is, next slide. So, just updates, from the police department, where your money's going and what our initiatives are doing. Last year, we have the Citizens Academy, we started the Citizens Academy. This year, we're on our second one. We're week two. We did a youth leadership program in the summer, last July. We're gonna do another one coming up this summer. We started EWPD Explorers program, which is, we haven't had ever since I've been there. And we upgraded some security to include some cameras that improved some of the high liability areas of the police department, booking, and some of the parking lot areas and things like that. We're grateful for that. We also, we're gonna launch in another week or so with a little bit of luck. Computers, which we always do, some medical equipment in the cars and cruiser supplies. That's what we needed. And lastly, we did our drone upgrade last June. Next slide. Some of the things that we did personnel wise, we onboarded 3 new officers. The next line down there, currently completing a background check for the additional officer. That's actually done. We've hired him. He's going to start with us on Monday. So that 3 goes to 4. We did 4 new officers this year. We promoted a lieutenant. Most of you guys know Lieutenant Derek Lee. He's doing a fantastic job. We also promoted 2 sergeants to better align our supervision. We implemented a new promotional FTO process for sergeants. Prior to that, everybody knows there's an FTO, it's a field training officer. That's where you come out of the academy and you ride with somebody for 13 or 14 weeks. But we never really had one for supervision. It's like, here you are, you pass the test, you're your sergeant, and you're off and running. That really wasn't a model that was working for us. So Deputy Chief worked with the program and some of the people put together, and then we now have a little bit of a mentoring program for our sergeants. So we're super happy about that. We are scheduled for Tier 3 accreditation, July coming up this year. We would have had it last year. It wasn't our fault. They suspended the program. They had some personnel issues down at POST, Police Officers Standard Training Council. So we were delayed a year, but we were ready to go. And we've always been ahead of the curve. That started under Chief DeMarco and Deputy Chief Roger Hart. So we've always been way ahead of the curve on that. And then this last year, we had a Serve Well, Be Well award, which is basically comes out of peer support. It's the mental health programs that we do and initiatives inside of our police department for our officers that, quite often run into traumatic events. And so you guys might, certainly must heard about or know about our station dog lady, and then there's other initiatives that they do, get together and do physical fitness and things, and that surrounds our peer support. Because of that, we were recognized with 11 other towns this year to get that award in October of 2024. So that's some of the updates that we did personnel-wise. Next slide. So this basically is just a budget outlines, it's expected costs, but really what it is, it's an operation and safety plan that covers this next fiscal year. Okay, next budget. Some of the things that we completed. So we say what we mean. So I want you guys to know that, one of the things that we wanted to do in 2024 were goals and objectives that we established a Explorer program, done. Continued department security or fixed department security, done. Tier 3 accreditation coming up, done. Complete town radio project. We're getting ready, real close to signing, hopefully we're gonna get a hard proposal and we can work through that. Begin department feasibility study. We're starting that and still working on my strategic plan. Those are some of the things we did in 2024. Next slide. Projects for 2025. I want to, through our department, Deputy Chief and I want to start a traffic division. We want to connect, which we've talked about before, or you might know, we want to connect to the CEN fiber or get better fiber for speed and of our uploads at the police department. That'll improve efficiency. We want to implement the radio project that was coming to us. Hopefully we can get that worked out. It's going to be an interagency agreement with Windsor, as you guys might know, attaches to the state court. We want to collaborate with the architect for a feasibility study for a better designed police department. We want to implement a community police officer, which we've already made. It's Officer Sam Sanchez. She's just new to her role, and we're redefining that. And some of that will come in with Melissa talked about the YSB. She'll be doing YSB, Local Preventative Council, JRB, which is Juvenile Report, which is a diversionary program for juveniles that get in trouble in town. And then lastly, implement our new alarm program. We already started sending out information about our alarms. We're going to be charging for alarms that come in. There's ones that come in all the time. You'll get a warning. And then it says 3 warnings, but I think 3 warnings is too much. So I'm probably going to knock it down to 1 warning and then just zip you. And hopefully it's, ask, tell, make, right? So, I mean, it's, that's probably what we're going to do. But we got that new program in place. It's going to launch pretty soon. We just did our training on it. We're fine tuning a few things.
Would you say alarm for, what is that just?
So
False
business
alarms.
alarm. So a business alarm comes in. So we're glad to go to the business alarms. Most of them, 99% of them are false, but you never know when you're going to get one. But the problem is that we're seeing these recurring ones that come in at the same time, same date, same thing all the time. And it's usually somebody that's not closing. There's a key holder that's out of date. There's a bird in somebody's facility. And so we're going there 3-4 times a shift. And so we have these habitual offenders. There's no reason for them to ever change. So we get these calls and we're going out constantly. So now it'll be, all right, you know what? You didn't change your whatever you were doing. There's a local business that I won't name it, but it closes at 4 o'clock, and then all of the supplies that they need to run their business after hours is in this office area, which is alarmed, and every time they go in the office area, the alarm goes off. Well, that seems sort of silly, and we're going up there every time, because the first time we don't, then there's a problem there. You need some motivation to fix it. So we're gonna find them. We did a quick study of what that would be. Last year, we would have fined people at the tune of about $26,000. I don't anticipate that would be the case because those are the ones that we're getting it fixed. I think once they get hit with an alarm fee, they would have motivation to change it. So,
Ties up officer time and all that stuff too, so.
yeah, we sent 2 officers, and like I said, most of the time there really isn't anything goes on. So that's what we're going to try to implement. And then I think that's it. Next slide. So staffing levels last year, we were 26, 10, and 3. Coming up this next year, or where we are now, is 27, 10, and 1. 1 part-timer is our ACL. Next slide. I don't know how updated your stuff is. I'm hoping it is. So, I don't have anything for you today, but we can work out the details if the numbers don't match. I know I'm a little off on a few, so don't pay attention. The next slide. So, good. The one thing that's not in line is covered up. I can't get the, I would tell you this was, so Amy and we come from the same high school, and I would tell you it was regional math, but because we come from the same high school, it can't be regional math. But I can't match hers and I can't figure it out, right? So, and it's my fault that I can't figure it out because I'm just not an Excel guy, right? So I'm just gonna tell you, the numbers up there are accurate, the percentages are like a little off, and I guess I need a lesson to figure that out. But anyways, let's start off at the top with the clerical. The clerical, we are out of, like you guys know, we are out of contracts, and we don't know what those raises are, so that's flat. The officers, you see, went up 21,393. Again, officers are out of contract, but that represents the step raises. We're so young that through the collective bargaining agreement, the officers have raises every year. So if you look at that, that's what's driving that 21,000 and change increases in step raises. Dispatchers, they are in contract. I think that our only union that is $9,092. You'll see a slight increase there. Admin, that's a 2% increase for myself and the deputy chief for our, again, collective bargaining agreement, or our contracts actually. Part-time, we don't have any. Our ACO's covered under a different funding source. Salaries, I'm sorry, PD overtime. This is always the one that's, we go over all the time. I went up 3% just because there's salary increases. The numbers, I've looked at this, and the number of overtime hours aren't increasing. The last couple of years are sort of staying the same, but the salaries go up. Overtime is really a variable. It depends on, whether you have anybody that's injured. You can look at vacation, but you can't look at long-term. So if you have folks that get injured and are off the books, they leave, somebody retires, which I don't anticipate, anything that creates a vacancy, we have to put some overtime in. So, it's hard to figure out. So what I looked at is, and I worked with the deputy chief, we figured we just tried to do like a 3% increase. And hopefully we're full staff. We haven't been full staff in the last several years. If you guys can remember the last several years, we had huge numbers for overtime, but we had 4, 5, 6 vacancies. I'm hoping you can see that trend going down. So and I can tell you that this year, the more staff we put on, the more overtime goes down. So like our last pay period was less than $9,000 for the PD side overtime. So it's 8,000 and change. So that's the operation side, or the benefit side, pay and benefit side. If you go down to professional services, we increased by $2,000. Dog fund, 0. The vehicle maintenance, again, we have an older fleet. So this year we're over our budget for that. I'm hoping this balances out with some of the other line items, but older fleet creates more problems. I did a quick analysis of some of the offender cars. We have 4 of our older cars, and I can detail out like why they've cost us so much more money throughout this year. Hopefully with the introduction of new cruisers this year, and if CIP works out next year, that number should hold. But it does, it's a 19% increase, which is a little bit. The other thing is that the cost of everything's going up. So obviously when you bring your cars to our vendor Bosco's, the cost is going up there. So that's driving that. Travel's 1,000, it stayed flat. Supplies a little over 1,000. Equipment 4,000. Uniforms, you'll see a decrease, $8,600, and the one below that, dues and fees. What's driving that is last year, so uniforms, when we're onboarding new officers, they cost obviously a lot more to buy uniforms. We don't have that this year, so I took it out of the budget. And dues and fees, It's about $4,000 or actually $4,000 per officer to send them to the academy. If we stay full staff, I don't have that academy cost in there. So that's what's driving the reduction of, both of those line items, a little over 13%. In the end, at the bottom, what's covered up, is what you guys should have. The numbers all work, right? So,
Yeah, 4210,471 is what they have.
yes.
And, Randy just said she has to sign off, I just want to.
They should know that.
And so if you want to know, I don't know if you have it, but I prepared some of the things that were driving the costing.
They should have all your report.
Yeah. Some of the things that were driving the cost increase were professional services. Stuff, vehicle maintenance, supplies is possibly things that were going up and uniform been there, so if those are good questions.
Yeah, where is, so, the funding for the police academy, the cadet program, where's that?
So the police academy for the officers,
The citizen police academy.
so that we absorbed that funding. So the Explorers, I think was the second part.
Yeah,
That's entirely on donations or fundraising. The Citizens Academy, we absorb the cost of it. It doesn't take a lot to run. It's, we have the officers that are donating their time, we're putting the things together, and we have all the supplies, so we get out of supplies for that.
great, thank you.
So we don't have a line item.
Okay, thank you.
Any further questions? Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. Very easy. Good job, boss.
That's it. Yep. All right, next,
Thank you for the report.
we're gonna go to our next item. So I think the next one is questions, which we already went through. So next one is, be out of order for you guys, but communications. So, Dry, this is communications, which is under my. Oh, that's okay. That's right. Goals and priorities for communication, working with our partners to complete online radio system. That's really the crux of it. Next, slide. Thank you. So communications, there's our radio system. Last year, you see it was 30,000, this is 49,000. What's driving that is we have an old radio system and the replacement of that is what we're working for. However, to maintain that moving forward, if we can maintain it at all, which is questionable day to day, we've broken it out, and the cost of markets our current vendor to keep the police department on our P25 digital system had increased to $1,200 a month. Hopefully you have that thing in front of you. The DPW is 384, and so there's a maintenance of 16,380. Marcus, that's our maintenance fees. So it's 49,113, and that's the bad news because it went up, but that is nowhere near the maintenance fees for the new system. So it's actually good news. Because when you see those numbers, they're way bigger than that. Just so you know, just preparing you. This system is circa 03. So we're on a 22-year system. So when the new one is obviously going to be a lot more expensive.
And the maintenance fees is gonna be more?
Yes, way more.
Why? It's a newer system. Usually when it's newer, that's cheaper.
Because you're going to be maintaining a system that's run by computers and there's microwave, fiber, all of the things that cost way more money. This one right here, we literally, it's like there's a hamster in a wheel and it's just cranking out. And so, and he's almost done. And that's how antiquated this system is. They don't even make the parts for it anymore. So I'm just preparing you. I probably shouldn't have said that, but I'm preparing you. These are. Tallinn, the second part of that is the Tallinn County Dispatch, which I think everybody knows that we had some go back and forth between. A deal had been set with Tallinn that the town side of that is going to be the 49,426. That's an increase of 22,000 from last year. So the overall budget increase is 41,512. And so the town and county is broken up with dispatch. It's an EMD, CMed, calls come into the police department. It's the dispatching for both of our fire departments and our ambulance. Those calls are broken out. That's the breakdown for the ambulance calls in town only.
And Talon County doesn't dispatch your calls.
They don't do ours. We do our own.
You do your own.
Yes. We do it.
He explained it pretty well, that if a call comes in and it needs fire, their dispatchers get that call, but then send it to Talon County.
They do the process of EMD.
And we need Talon County for,
So Talon County does fire and ambulance. So when a call comes in that's ambulance related, you have to do what's called an EMD, which is the emergency medical dispatching. They stay on the line, they ask a series of questions, and they determine what services go where. Our police department has 2 dispatchers on, but they'll go down to 1. Talon County has 2. If we wanted to do the EMD part of it, we could take on the dispatching, which we've talked about. We could take on the dispatching and farm out the EMD, which you know it's a little bit cheaper. But I don't know that we at some point, if we wanted to take on the fire and the ambulance, we'd have to add more dispatchers on there. So the dispatchers obviously make a lot more in salary and benefits. So
Right.
that's really what it's done.
Now, I don't know how routing works, but if Talon County got the call first, can they just do the dispatchers and the same thing, they send it to?
Talon County doesn't get there too far away to get our 911s. So we're a 911 PSAP system.
Gotcha.
They will get calls occasionally if it's an alarm or somebody calls the fire department directly and they call them, but they can't dispatch us.
Gotcha, okay.
We could dispatch them if we took that on and we had some software things, but they can't dispatch us.
The other thing of that is that there are 911 calls that come in that the police need to stay on the line for, that Talon County would not have the ability to do. They wouldn't have the ability to store the information. So if there's, what's a good example? Just like an active domestic.
Yeah,
You guys stay on the line the whole time, the whole way to the call.
there's a lot of them. And we even stay on when they're kicking it too. TN will listen to the call and update the officers. Our officers are first responders. It's a little bit complicated, but the other thing that TN can't do is they're not CJIS compliant, which is there's a whole bunch of series of layers of security that we have that go above and beyond when you're running plates and registrations and all the information that we have. The warrant drawers that stay in there and stuff like that, they're not designed for that. They're designed for emergency medical dispatching. There are police departments that take them on. We looked at it this year. Like I said, we could have taken on the ambulance side and dispatched the ambulance. We still would have had to have an EMD component, which would have still gone to TN or CMed, which is the cost is $2.20 per population plus another $1 for an EMD thing. So it was like $35,744. So this was the difference of $35,744 to 49, and it was worked out. Board of Selectmen made a decision to keep it with TN, and I think it was right. I think it was the right thing to do. There's a little bit more work we have to do. If we wanted to dispatch, we also have to onboard software that we don't currently have now. There'd be a cost to that. It would have been about the same as this, so it would have not saved money this year. Maybe in the future it would have saved money, but I think this is going to be a topic we're going to continue to have and wrestle with year to year. So.
And this estimate is based on how many calls we've had?
Yeah, they take it, it's a per call volume. TN looks at how many both of either one of the fire departments go to and the ambulance, and they assess a dollar amount to that. And that's how they come up with what they come up with. So.
Any other questions? All right. Well, that just moves us to emergency management.
Yep. Emergency management. All right, so emergency management is next up. So we go to the next slide. What we're trying to do here. Maybe it froze up on us.
Oh, yeah,
Oh, no, some of the goals for 2024, we're gonna establish a CERT team, check done, complete a townwide emergency management drill, check done. And we applied for and received $25,000 for, to add to a new emergency operations center. After that, we have to spend that by September of 2025. Next slide. Some of the things we want to do next year, continue with the training for the CERT members. It's a new program. There's a lot of training for them. CERT members are communities with, members of the community, civilian members of the community that will come out and they will augment us in case of an emergency or preparedness. They go through a series of training and get certified. So we give them monthly training, and Deputy Chief's been doing a great job with that. Our sergeants, we want to complete the 2025 emergency management drill, because we decided we're going to do that every year. And then submit the local emergency operation plan for 2026. Every 2 years, your town has to submit a plan it's a large document, over 400 pages, and it lays out what the emergency operation plan for the town is in the event that you got hit with a major emergency, flood, disaster, or something like that. So it's pretty comprehensive. We go through it every 2 years. It allows us to get emergency management matching funds. It's not a lot, but it's 50 cents per population. It's 50 cents.
Yeah, it's $5,600 or something like that.
Something like that. So, and it's good to have. The emergency operation plans, basically what we would operate off of if we did have a disaster. Next slide. So the stipend, this is for the director and the deputy director, myself, chief here. I asked for an increase of $2,000. The deputy chief, when he first came on last year, he had to take all the classes for the emergency management certification. He's completed them all now. He's actually starting the 300 tomorrow. Nice. Yeah, Wednesday and Thursday, that's 300, and then we're going to finish the 400 course. We're waiting for everybody to get caught up. He's doing that with Sergeant Knowles. That's an exciting course. He's looking forward to it. It doesn't seem like it is right now, but there's a lot of excitement right there. I feel like I have to lighten this up.
I know.
So I've asked for an increase to match his skills. And my stipend stay the same. Phone has gone up a little bit. It's just the normal cost. Communications is the same. Cable, we now have to pay for a cable line in there. It's $118 a month. We didn't have to pay that before. Now we do. So that was a cost that went up. Equipment maintenance. A lot of that drives this is the maintenance of our generators and some of the things that Joe at DPW takes care of. We are out of contract with the generators, but we're working on getting them. So I don't anticipate, I think we're going to be out fine under 12,000. So I talked to Joe and we decided that we would keep it the same. If it goes up, it's my fault, not Joe's. So just get that out.
Easy, Mark.
Just get that out there. So we're trying to get a contract to do that, but that's the maintenance of the generators for all the critical facilities in town, and a few other things. And supplies went up a little bit. Again, we have emergency management drills and things like that. And this is just this type of stuff that would support that, including some of the things. So you see, overall with the stipend, it's $4,500. Without the stipend, it's $2,500. That's just driving the increase right there. Any questions?
Can we go back to the first slide? I missed that last, the right-hand corner on the first slide.
First, what is the first slide?
Of emergency management.
Of emergency manager. I didn't get the abbreviation, what you said that was. I'm sorry.
Local Emergency Operation Plan, LEOP.
Okay.
So the LEOP is a local emergency operation plan. It's filed with the state. It details, so some of the things in there has all of your emergency contacts and phone numbers. It's got all the capabilities of the town, DPW's, all of their equipment, police department, fire. EFS is their emergency functions. There's a whole bunch of them. It's got dam emergency. It's got cyber. It's got what the town would do for cybersecurity, which we have to work on. It details some evacuation plans. It's pretty comprehensive. 462 pages. It's pretty comprehensive, but if we had that, we could distribute that to the members, that they could look through it very quickly and see who was what, where, and how. That allows us, it's one of many criteria that allow us to get that $5,600. But you have to be up every 2 years, and you refresh it every 2 years. So I don't know if you've ever seen it, but I can supply you.
Oh, I just missed the abbreviation. I didn't
Yeah,
get,
yep.
that's all.
So it's wonderful reading, like if you have a hard time sleeping. It's exhilarating. So, wow.
Look at his smile. His smile picked up when he said that.
Exhilarating stuff. So, move through, we're near the end, but one more slide. Questions? Now, I had to put this in there because Chief DeMarco used to put all kinds of like sirens and cars that came in and curtains and stuff. And he was fantastic at it, but I am not. So this is the best I could do because it was a request. It was a request from somebody to put some type of something in there. And so I found this car, and as a shameless plug, that if we don't pass CIP and we don't get some funds, this is what we'll be driving. So I put the best looking car I possibly could in there.
K car, right?
So yes, and I showed it to one of the officers and he's like, oh, I remember those cars. And I'm like, all right. So there's the car. That's the best I can do. I didn't want to spend a lot.
I did love this little zoom, they would zoom in.
He
you
would
know,
zoom
it's a
in,
good
he
time,
had
yeah.
all the animation, and honestly, you have to be very, very good. to
It
do
made
all
an
this stuff, 'cause
entertaining night.
every time you add something, it does something more. And
Yeah.
there was curtains and stuff, so there's the car, it's the best I can do.
Yeah, car 54.
So, and that's it. Any questions?
It's good, straightforward.
I appreciate the commentary.
All right,
Guess the other one in there is police commission, which we have asked for the same thing.
Yeah.
yes, it's flat. It's 125 times 12 plus 100, $1,600, right?
1725, but.
So whatever.
They went to the same place, yeah.
I read the math.
That actually helps me out.
Good, thank you very much, I appreciate it. Uh, So next is selectmen.
That's the very first category on your sheet.
Yep.
Or in your book.
So I'm known for having extremely long PowerPoints, and today is going to be something that I actually don't have the analyzed presentation. I'm going to last after about 80% of the general government. So there are a couple of things in the budgets that are under my control that I want to point out, just because there are changes worth noting. And then if there's anything else in any of these budget lines that you want to discuss, well, especially I'm happy to go to most area a long PowerPoint. I do just want to say, between Melissa's presentation and Chief Carl's presentation, I have not had so many opportunities for laughter at a Board of Finance meeting in a very long time. And I can remember these meetings being very tense and very confrontational, and it's just nice to be away from that.
Well, they had nice pictures.
Your presentation was fantastic. Don't get me wrong. I mean, they crack jokes. I like jokes.
It was another thing. It was unnecessary. It was unnecessary comment, but we're gonna work on it.
I love it. She got both of us.
She did, she did.
I sent some.
Me too. All right, so
Oh, okay.
So in the selectmen's budget, there are a couple of changes that are probably gonna pop out at you, and I just want to explain what they are and why they're happening. You'll notice that in leased equipment, that budget line is going down by 39%. Postage is going up by 24%, and computer supplies is going up by 190%. That's eye-popping if you look at just the percentages, but the reduction in leased equipment is really just moving that expense from the lease line to the computer supply line, because that's talking about printing pages. That's all that is just a relocation so that it is more accurate. Postage is a big increase, and that's because our postage usage has gone up, and so too has the cost of postage. So that's a cost of doing business change. Before we move on to the other like 10 or 12 of these that are on your agenda, Any questions, comments, concerns about the budget for the selectmen's office as put forward by the BOS? Okay. Next then, charter revision. So we're required to have a charter revision process take place every 5 years. That process can be pretty brief. It can be very granular. And we really don't know until that process begins. Typically, it's a 2-month process. We are going to have to start that in calendar year 25. It may or may not be completed by the end of, well, I mean, it will be completed by the end of, it most likely will be completed by the end of calendar 26. It could very well be that the Board of Selectmen review the charter and then decide not to make any changes. It could be that there's a full-fledged opening of the entire document, and there's statutory processes for each of those. So that's coming now. That's why that money is put back in that budget. Ethics Commission is on here. We don't have a standing forum for the Ethics Commission, but in the event that we do, and there's a need for them to meet, they need to have the reporting secretary support around that. And that's a process that the Ethics Commission operates is a process that is prescribed in both local ordinance and state statute. It is an administrative, not quite judicial process, but it is a possibility that we would repopulate that, and then that they may add something if legal.
On the bottom of page 2 on the big spreadsheet, if anybody's looking at it, it's the very last item on the second page.
So legal, I have been absolutely smoked in my legal budget this year. And Bill, I think you were the first one to point this out, but it has been just a nightmare to manage. And I wanted to show you why. All right, so this is a breakdown through the first half of the year for where all of our legal expenses had gone. I'm happy to answer any questions about any of these, but you can see that the major areas were tax appeals, which represented 20% of the total overall legal spend in this fiscal year. That is represented by 41 tax appeals with valuations in excess of $1 million. When we did the property revaluation, the Board of Assessment Appeals elected not to hear any of those appeals that were over $1 million. And the statutory process for those folks is you get a direct shot over into the Superior Court. So we have been defending and or litigating all 41 of those. They are, with I think only 1 or 2 exceptions, resolved at this point, mostly in the town's favor, but it still has been very costly to have to defend them. Von Hollander, that is a land use dispute involving Napoleon Drive, Dempsey Road, and a new subdivision called Broadbrook Meadows. That is almost all the way resolved. There's been a settlement that has been reached. We're just waiting for his check to clear, and then that'll be released. But we've recovered all of the legal costs associated with that case as a result of the settlement. Contract negotiations, there, as has been discussed a number of times, we have a lot of contracts that are in various stages of negotiation. That's not an overly outsized percentage of what we would generally spend, given the number of contracts that are out. What else jumps out at me? Those are the big ones.
So it looks like we're reducing, I'm assuming it's because we've settled them.
We're reducing only because the revised budget has $100,000 additional appropriation that I gave it.
The legal
Last
cost is
month.
going up, and it's going up by 5%, I think.
Going up
but-
$15,000.
Yeah, on a $300,000 budget. I also went to regional. It's contagious tonight. That's 3%. So it's always a best guess. You don't know what suits are going to be brought against you. The tax appeal, the expanse of that was unexpected. Certainly when we put the budget together.
Can we do per hour? We don't do.
We do not have a retainer model. We're on a per hour model. We also have an opportunity and have availed ourselves of it for any litigation that we submit to our insurance carrier that is not covered by the insurance carrier. Once we hit a $5,000 deductible, they will reimburse us up to $10,000 per case or $50,000 per year. So what you're looking at, Amy, does that net out or is that just the expense side?
It will net out eventually. I don't know if any is in here yet. It might be. I don't know when I did this, sheet,
And we just submitted for what, 37 or 47,000?
37.
So we have 37,000 in additional reimbursement coming back, which will reduce the legal expense for the year.
What's the benefit of doing it hourly versus the retainer model? Is there a benefit or is it just preference?
Retainer model, you end up losing it if you don't use it. This is a pay-as-you-go model that we use, and that's,
And if you use too much of the retainer, you put more in.
Yeah.
It's not a, you pay $100,000 and you're all set for no matter how bad your
Right,
legal
yeah.
situation
If
is.
you go over a certain, yeah.
I actually don't understand what the upside of doing a retainer model would be with an organization like that. It's very, I mean, it is, we pay for what we get and we get what we pay for. And I will stress that point, we get what we pay. Coleman Conley is one of the larger firms in Connecticut. They've got 100 lawyers with varied expertise in all manners of law, including emergent areas of law. And they do a fantastic job. If Josh is not able to provide expert advice on pick an issue, he's got 4 partners that can. And I've got relationships with 15 or 20 of the lawyers in that practice. They're all expert at what they do.
Thank you.
Top of the next video. It's following along on the.
Yeah, activities and fees is I mean, that's kind of a hot topic stuff. If there's anything in there that anybody would like to ask questions about, I'd be happy to answer that.
We've already heard from Memorial Day,
Yeah.
Cemetery Association, American Heritage.
The rest are assessments to varying degrees.
A probate, I will say, it looks like it's going up a lot, but this year's too low. 6 months was 1379, so I'll be coming back for our transfer. As soon as we know that amount.
Anything else in activities and fees?
Have anybody?
Nicole's got something.
I don't know, the cemetery association, I feel like I always have questions on it, but I know we funded some stuff last year through what we have left.
So they asked for, I can give you the footnotes version, which is the recitation, which you heard. They asked for $60,000. One of the justifications that they made is that they lost their biggest client, which is St. Catherine's. And they still have ongoing expenses that need to be done. We did fund them to the tune of, I think, $52,000 in additional appropriations at the end of the last fiscal year for driveway repair and maintenance and for tree removal. They are just getting to that aspect of the project now. It's not as simple as we're gonna just turn over a check for $50,000 for them to just hire whoever they're gonna hire. That money was kept in a CNR line under town properties. So they had to go through Joe and through our procurement process to make sure that we're doing things the way we're supposed to be doing. They didn't realize that they had the additional funds put in there. So they came back and kind of asked for it in duplicate. And, but they also lost revenue because St. Catherine's is no longer available.
That wasn't really that much.
No, it was,
Yeah.
$5,000 or $7,500.
But to hear them explain it, that was the whole kit and caboodle right there.
No, what they really like is they would like $60,000 is the real answer.
Yeah, because they've come in with that number, I think, each of the last 3 years to start, and they've been pared back with some modest increases along the way, but they, that's not the arrangement.
But we did fund the tree removal, so that just hasn't happened yet.
No, they have other trees they want done now. They did some themselves. We're doing the pavement at Windsorville.
Tree removal, paving it up all the trees.
And fencing, right? They want to go fencing.
And right, they have new requests. They have other trees now. They took care of some trees. Now they have other trees they want to take care of. Now there's fencing they want to replace. Now that they're getting their driveway paved the correct way, now they want us to do other things.
And that was a choice. We could do a patchwork job on the driveway that they wanted us to replace. Or we could take it down and actually replace it so that it's not gonna be something that any of us ever have to worry about again until the residents there.
I
I
would be
mean,
worried.
really, what was it, a five-year fix is what they were looking at?
Oh, yes, she's going to. Yes. I'm trying to be comic relief here.
Right. So if there's nothing else on activities and fees, I will move on to debt. You guys will remember that in 2020, the town paid off $3.5 million outstanding debt associated with the USDA development loan for the expansion of the sewer line along the. But then one of them, paying that off and creating additional debt capacity with our debt service down. We took some of the savings that happened in that line and relocated it to CIP with the logic being that those are one-year expenditures. You want to keep that funding available to you in the event that you need to go out so that it minimizes the direct impact on taxpayers when that bond question comes up. If all goes according to plan, we'll be taking advantage of that sometime in the end, towards the end of the fall. And that's with a potential project associated with the schools. That will not cover by any stretch the whole project associated with that project. But it's at least something that minimizes the impact that taxpayers are going to be asked to pay if that project is approved.
And here's another one where the principal, I have moved 100,000 to the legal. So it looks like principal is going up $121,000 or 23%. That is not true. It is staying almost the same, maybe going up 2%, going from 628 to 650.
Which dovetails into CIP. So their original ask was, I think, 1.7 million.
1780, yep.
And we came down to 1.25, which is roughly 3% over the current year. Again, that does assume that we're reallocating a portion of that debt service into CIP. And one of the things I will say about this, first of all, Denise was right when she said that by doing this the way that we're doing, reallocating it throughout the budget process, but somehow it being perpetually built in there. We are not making it any easier long-term for how we manage capital improvements. But one of what you didn't mention is that we are making it easier in terms of managing that debt service obligation when we need it. So it kind of cuts both ways. That was something that she brought up during your public hearing process. And I just wanted to say, like, she has a valid point, but there is also the other piece of it, which is to say, like, are you going to smooth that? You know, are you going to make sure that's available to benefit the taxpayers?
And we are doing capital improvements with the extra debt service money when we get to the end of the year.
Yeah. So that's the second point that I was going to get to is if you'll notice, the 1.7 million ask that they brought forward is a lot lower than it used to be. That used to be 2.122, and then it would get cut down to the $1 million where we have to be funding that year. I think that's a representation of what we have been doing with surplus funds that have been available in the operating budget, which is to go after those capital improvement projects that are out there that we can do with available funds. So the ask pool is starting to get a little bit smaller. I'm not sure that there's causality there, but there certainly is coincidence that the two get up. Any questions? Do you want to talk about? So contingency is pretty well. I mean, it's specifically not straightforward, but it's pretty straightforward. There is a small amount that is being budgeted for true unanticipated expenditures, a true natural contingency fund. That's $50,000 of the 257, and the remaining 207,000 is what the town has reserved for non-negotiated rates. There's at this point 2 years of supervisors there will be years worth of police, years worth of clerk. So it's a pot of money that's blended together that will get parsed back out to the departments where the employees affected by those collective bargaining agreements or employment agreements actually reside once they're resolved. That's it. That's what I got. Questions or comments? Thank you, guys.
That concludes the departments we've had for tonight. There are a few more items on the budget we can move forward on. And we do have the meeting set for the 10th. We do not have an agenda for that yet, because we wanted to see how far we wanted to go tonight. So I'll ask what the board would like to do. We can
We've gotten through all of our departments.
all done. All presented. So. Next up would be if you want to, we can discuss Broadwood Fire Department budget. Put that to bed. Move on.
I'm just curious, just a discussion on it, that $100,000 that they have in their budget, everyone's thoughts.
I'm against it. I think we should wait anyways of the year to get out of that building. I think that we're pushing the issue here. I mean, this is a perfect building. You can remodel that building. It's got a basement under it. Life is good in the basement under something. You can put showers, you can put locker rooms, you can do any kind of thing in that basement. I think we should go let that rest a year. So we give them, and then we give them that 100,000 and they keep getting it. I think we should hold off.
They're not doing it. They would just be the.
Well, they wanna use it for,
We've got $100,000 for the next phase, they're heading for, I believe Amy is like, their CNR and their fund balance.
Yes, they have $244,000 in their fund balance. Savings or excess revenue over the last 3 years.
this year, so put some skin in the game.
Okay, that's good to know.
And I actually think, isn't there a $53,000? 53,000. I remember that from the.
No, they have a bill coming of $530,000, but that's for their truck and that comes out of their vehicle line that's in CNR.
Okay.
And how long, like, so when you do, these shovel-ready plans, like, how long are they actually good? Do they have to have a plan to actually get it moving? Or like,
We have, the engineering done around, they consider the shelf for a little while, we do need to update the pricing as that changes. But it can last a while. All I can say,
It all depends on the city codes change, building codes change to their big fire codes. And then PA changes their codes. We just went through a big switch with building codes, correct? And they, insulation, all values, ceiling, wind structures, I mean, we're putting hurricane straps on everything now, I mean. So. But when do they change? 3 to 5 years ago.
I mean, I would say with that, I might feel comfortable to pick up $100,000. I don't know if you. Like, MRY, or we comfortable with this part of it, right?
Doug, anything? I mean, it's on our budget, we got time, it's not a lot.
It's up to you, if you want to. Not if you want to.
Thursday.
How about if they need that, spend $100,000 on a plan for a building that you might, is the chief for the fire department, so it might go 20 years down the road. Doesn't make sense. Pretty much. If they want to do something, like I said, if they have the money available. Reality, I mean, that's kind of a little offended that they're pointing us that they don't have, the whereabouts or the ability to do decontamination. I mean, that's never been mentioned to this board in 10 years I've been on this board. Now all of a sudden it's an issue. you know, I know for my job, I mean, the accountants go out and certify, you know, I know how to set up, you can say. Not maybe as expensive as what they're looking for, but you can do. And, you know, the senior center, building, you have an entire upstairs, and I have a hard time believing that you can't be upstairs with the lockers, with some showers, and the entire upstairs. I said. My spot, I mean, it's one of the new buildings in town. That.
That's the newest building.
It is the newest building.
It's, you know, as far as storing things outside, you know, for $100,000, you can put a. Uninsulated board and build out back, put your boat, some of your spare stuff on the side, and just move out back, it's not being used just for housing senior and all that stuff. So I think. Reality is, I'm okay with taking $100,000 out. That's just a train of thought, I think. Back to the other motion for the Brockton Fire Department budget.
So what's, I'm trying to see what this.
It's right here, they're asking for $1,197,671, that was with $100,000 in there for the plans to. Engineering. plan.
Want a copy?
Right, here somewhere.
No, that's all right. Here's a copy. I happen to have a spare. That somebody left me last week.
Project fire, we did, we found it from $1,930,000.
Second,
Second.
any further discussion, since I'm coming. All in favor of the Robert Fire Department budget of $1,097,671, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, so. Yes, I just misplaced on my list. So that puts the Robert Fire Department. budget. So we'll adjourn until, the 10th. And, we'll go through the budget line by line, through each department. And discuss the budget, all done on the 10th.
And I will send out the draft of the manual without the numbers for now.
Yeah. I mean. Something
Something with numbers? Okay.
As it's in the budget right now.
Okay.
Let's go with budget for their. And what you do.
Motion to adjourn.
What's the meeting? Oh, pretty much.